Hi guys, Dave Max 6 and it's Be Built by Roser. We're back at the Mecca and today we have a special show for you guys. That's right. We haven't used that wall that often. I don't know why.
We've been in front of this wall in a while.
I love that wall. Eric, what's going on today, man?
Great show today. I have to say, shout out to myself. Yesterday was my birthday.
That's right. Happy birthday, Merlin.
And I just turned 22.
Yeah, we wish.
That's what I think. I want to, on camera, thank you, Dave, again for a great day yesterday. You surprised me. We came to train with me. You showed me what my awesome gift is going to be, which you'll see more about that later on. And then we went to the firehouse for lunch, and you brought along none other than Jay Cutler, four-time Mr. Olympia, to hang out with us, and that's great seeing Jay again, and his beautiful girlfriend Monique, and the adorable little dog Rondo. I love that little dog. So yeah, so we had a great time, great day yesterday. But anyway, today we're back.
Back to business today.
Back to business, and I'm here with my awesome client, Mark Durando, who I think, when were you here last time? How many weeks out were you?
I think it was about 8
You were 8 weeks out.
8 weeks out.
So you were like 7 weeks.
It's about 7 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's about
Big
7 weeks
difference.
ago. Huge changes in the
I
physique.
cannot wait to get him in the
Yeah.
footage today because I saw a picture that you showed me, a side tricep, and I was blown.
Yeah, and so the show is next week, so we're into the peak week.
Wow.
Today's Sunday, and so it's all game going. So today what we're going to do is we're going to do some posing with Mark. We're going to see how he looks, a week out from the show.
Yeah.
See what I need to do. This is, how I assess his physique and how I decide. Like, a lot of people will ask me, what's peak week going to be like 3 weeks out? And I'll be like, I don't know what peak week's going to be like. I need to see what you look like first.
Yeah.
So you can't plan a peak week, and sometimes peak week will change all during the week.
Right.
So I'm going to see what he looks like today to plan for the next couple of days. And also Dave and I, you guys, we're training some arms today. And since we have this guy here in such good shape, we're going to have him demonstrate a couple of cool cable exercises. Nothing crazy, but just a little variations on some movements like I like to do. Mark will demonstrate, and you can put him into your program. So
And a couple of questions, maybe for the fans.
And yes, I brought with me 5 questions from fans of the show.
Wow.
So I won't be able to be too lengthy in them, but I don't think it's going to take that long. But shout out to each one of you, and we'll do those at the end of the show. And I think it'll be a great show overall. And I know that Mark just came down from Bakersfield, so it's a long drive for him.
So nice. Thanks, Mark.
We thank him for coming down here. It's great to have him down here, and we're going to do this, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Is he going to train on with us?
He's not going to train arms.
Okay.
By the way, this is his company, right? Superhero Fit. And
How old are you, Mark?
26.
And you thought you got his own company. Man, I'm behind.
Got Superhero Fit. I believe that I'm going to be getting one of these T-shirts.
Yes, you are. Yeah,
And I think
it's
you,
right now.
I think
Dave's
you
getting
too,
one
Dave.
Yeah,
I think you too. I think he asked
awesome.
me your size also.
I love this guy.
I said Dave is at 4XL.
Yeah,
but,
I wish.
I'm like the baby between you guys.
he's yeah. Anyway, but yes, it's going to be a great show, and then that's it.
going.
We're going to bring it to you.
Thanks, you guys.
You ready? All right. Put it towards the right. Turn to the right. Put it to the right. To the front. Double bicep. Front flat spread. Go to the right. Side chest. Side tricep.
Wow.
Go turn to the mat.
I see it.
Just gotta point it out.
I see it, dude. It's sick.
That's right. Think about doing a front bounce spread. And just do that. Just let it go out. You're kind of you're not spreading. So let's do your front bounce spread and do the back.
Boom.
Do you have any poses that you from your routine, like any that you want to show? Any that are not necessary? Yeah, just a couple of
Not unfortunate. Wow.
really nice. Really nice. Any other ones?
Wow, you look great, dude. Oh my God, 1 week out.
1 week out, I am extremely happy with the way he looks. He's better right now than he's ever been on stage before, and I haven't
Wow.
even peaked him yet. We're about 188 pounds right now.
Wow.
And
What a change in 7 weeks.
what's the name of the show again?
The INBA World Cup.
INBA World Cup. Is it?
It's one of the Harris Resort. Yeah, I can't even talk right now.
It's okay, you're good.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's a pro and amateur show.
Okay.
Pro
Gotcha.
qualifier.
Is this a pro qualifier to
Yeah.
be
What
a
if
natural
What if
pro?
you win that?
Huh?
What if you win that show? What
As an
happens?
amateur, you become a pro, and then
Nice.
you got the professionals that compete for the National Olympian, which is the
Wow.
next weekend.
Yeah. No. Oh, next weekend. Okay. Gotcha.
I think so, yes. No, it's the
Wow.
following weekend, same as your show.
Wow. That's awesome.
So yeah, so he's a drug-free competitor. I work with people of all kinds. I don't care, just as long as they work hard. I have no problem.
He hardly used supplements. You were
But-
telling me. What do
and
you
yeah,
What do you use
honestly,
for supplements?
Yeah, he honestly doesn't use that many supplements.
You use protein. What do you use?
Just protein, aminos, the creatine monohydrate. Most of my stuff comes from EFX Sports.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
and
just the
it's
basic BCA,
just the-
creatine, protein. That's it.
Little pre-workout for the,
Wow.
good
Yeah.
pump focus.
Unbelievable.
barely, and just a little bit of a fat burner.
Yeah,
Just
the
a little
lean fix.
And
Wow.
so basically, this
Yeah,
is basically
tons of
done.
coffee.
This is done with hard work. I mean, I've been also providing his workouts for him for since we started. Completely different types of training. I wanted to bring out. He has very, very good legs, as you can see.
Yeah,
Very,
yeah.
I mean, amazing
Yeah.
legs.
Yeah.
I mean, incredibly
Wow.
thick. And
Yeah.
one of the things that I saw about him is that he actually had an imbalance between the legs and the upper body, and I can't stand imbalance. I'm an artist, that's what I always was, and I look at the body as a piece of art, and I want to bring about proportion and symmetry. So even though it was contest prep, I said I still want to bring that upper body out to match his legs, and I think that we've done a pretty nice job here. I mean, he looks tremendous. I'm incredibly proud of him. He's been working hard. He does everything that I ask of him, no matter what the diet is, no matter what the change is done, and he just works hard. And so we got one more week to the show, and
That's obvious.
we have no control again over. I always say this: we have no control over placings, over judges, over anything that happens. We can only control ourselves, and if we beat ourselves, that is a victory. And I personally think that from the pictures you showed me, you crushed your last condition. And so I'm really proud of this guy. So
You did great, Mark.
No, thank you.
Yeah, so impressed. I mean, I didn't want to say nothing last time because also you're a natural competitor, so it's hard for me to gauge. But when I saw you the first time and you came here and you posed for him, I'm like, wow, he looks good. But 8 weeks is gonna come fast. I wonder if he's gonna make it. And I see you today. And first of all, I saw you showed me that picture of that side tricep at his house. And it was like, oh my God, I can't believe it's only been 7 weeks. You really changed so much.
I couldn't believe it myself.
So much in
I mean,
7 weeks.
I questioned Coach a few times on the email, like, are you serious? Like, I mean, please, you're not pulling my leg right
Wow.
now. But no, you know, because I've never been in this incredible shape.
I can't wait for people to
Like
see this footage, and I'm get some pictures from Eric and put that in there.
Yeah.
You know, when you first start training with him and versus now, so we can get some comparisons, some before and after, because it's amazing. So
Yeah, and we'll you know, after the show is over, obviously we'll come back and we'll talk about the show and what the results were.
Yeah,
And
of
again,
course,
I'm
of
so
course.
happy that he just looks the way he does. Is his best ever.
he's done the work.
A model
Obviously, he's
client,
done
like
the
I
work,
said,
yeah.
and you know, when it comes down, when you talk about bodybuilding coming down to training and diet more than anything else, this is the proof right here,
Yeah.
because he doesn't, like he said, doesn't even use that many supplements. There's a couple of times where he ran out of supplements and you're saying, Coach, I ran out of this, I ran out of that. Am I going to be okay? And I'm like, you're going to be okay. And so, I mean, he was even playing catch up on supplements. So it's all about hard work, and really proud. And
You won already, man. I gotta tell you.
he won, and next week hopefully he'll bring home some hardware.
Yeah.
And now we're going to use Mark for
Since
a
we
couple,
got him.
we have him here. He looks like this.
That's right.
And let's use him for a couple of exercises.
That's
Why
right.
not?
Some special Merlin,
we'll show him a bicep and a tricep exercise. We'll use Mark as the model. And
All right.
thanks
That's
for
it.
watching as always.
All right, thanks for coming, Mark.
Thank you.
Good luck next week.
Okay, guys, so we're here with my good friend and client, Mark Durando. He's a week out from his show, and I wouldn't let him leave. I stole him and said, you're going to stay here because you look so darn good, and demonstrate a couple exercises for us because, listen, I'm tired. I don't want to keep demonstrating things.
Without
you know?
your shirt on, mind you. Take
Yes.
your shirt off.
Yes. I can't take my shirt off because I'm hairy right now, and Dave's behind the camera. So
No,
anyway,
we
yeah.
told him you gotta take your shirt off.
Oh, we
to
told
do this,
him.
Yeah.
He had his T-shirt on for this. We're like,
Take this off.
no. Not while you look like this.
That's right.
So anyway, we're going to demonstrate, since Dave and I are doing arms today, I figure we'll demonstrate a couple extra arm exercises. And again, if you've been watching the videos, and we hope you have, we basically, as a trainer, I like to take basic movements and sometimes just change up the angles, change up the grips, because every time we just change the angle of push or pull in any basic movement, you hit a different set of muscle fibers, different motor unit pools, and you will get better hypertrophy that way because you're hitting the muscle more completely. So instead of just hitting the same basic things over and over and over again, I like to show you different ways to hit the muscle. We're going to do that here with a tricep push down here. That's actually going to be it's called an incline tricep push down, since we have an incline bench set up here. I guess we're set up somewhere at about 45 degrees or so. Have a straight bar in there. Could really do it with a rope or a V-bar, doesn't really matter. And this is kind of a combination of a push down and an extension at the same time. Kind of has elements of both. So it's a good mass building movement since it has elements of both. And since we have the cable working, you get a full stretch and a full contraction of the muscle against the weight of the cable. So I'm going to have Mark sit down here and demonstrate for you, and I'll talk about it while he does it. Got that? Okay. So as you see, he's laying back in the bench. He's going to lock his elbows into his sides. They're not going to move from that position. And he's going to push out and down at the same time. You can see the tricep flexing there. Now the key to this movement, as you can see, is that there's only movement at the elbow. He's keeping the upper arms, and I said to him, please keep your upper arms locked into your body. This is allowing him to get a full stretch at the top. As you see right there, full stretch on the tricep and a full contraction at the bottom. You can see every head of the muscle coming out as he squeezes it down. He's doing it nice and slow, so as he comes up, his elbows stay in the same position, and he's also pushing to the bottom under control so he can get that contraction in the tricep muscle and not in the elbow.
Oh, it looks pretty.
And it looks really good, as you can see. All heads separating there. And I could watch him do this all day because
I know.
we love to watch muscle flexing like this. But that is perfect execution of the incline push down. So try this in your next tricep workout. I promise you get a great pump. Okay, so we demonstrated an interesting tricep movement, and now we're going to demonstrate an interesting bicep movement. This movement is a movement I developed this years ago, actually, because I was at a limited gym at one point in my building, and I had to come up with some interesting new angles for myself because there wasn't a lot of equipment, and I love different angles. I just love having that variety. So I took an incline bench, I put it in front of a cable machine, and said, let me see what I can do with this. And I came up with this exercise. So basically, again, as you can see, the incline bench is here. It's about 45 degrees or so, facing towards the cable, straight bar hooked up there. And what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be working on the biceps and the brachialis, because the arms are away from the body instead of next to the body. that disengages some bicep action and brings in more brachialis action. And we always talk about the brachialis being the muscle that lies underneath the bicep. It's that ball. And when you develop that muscle, it gives you a much better 3D look into the arm, especially when you're very defined. And as well, also helps to push the bicep up a little bit higher. So in a way, it forms more of a peak. It makes them appear a little bit higher in some poses. So you want to work on that brachialis, and this is a great movement to do it. You will allow for a very full stretch, and you get a very, very good, strong contraction. This is definitely, again, one of those movements where you don't want to go too heavy. You got to stay very much under control because you got to keep the elbows and the upper arms in one place the entire time. Probably a great movement to put at the end of a workout or as part of maybe a superset. So I'm going to have Mark demonstrate it now, and I'll talk about it as we go.
Make it look pretty, Mark.
Yeah, he has no choice when he looks like this. All right, so he's sitting back against the bench. What he's doing, watch his foot. You see he's bracing his foot against the bench. This way he keeps his body stable. So you want to brace your foot. His arms are fully outstretched at the top, and he is squeezing back towards about eye level. And he's going straight out to the top. And as you can see, there's no movement at all except at the elbow. So the upper arms remain at that angle, in that position throughout the entire movement. So he's going to full stretch, full range of motion, coming in for a full squeeze. And as you can see, he's getting, everything is contracting in that arm. It is working the bicep and the brachialis, as I mentioned.
Brings it to his upper nose.
He's bringing it, you can experiment a little bit. Maybe you feel a little bit better if you go a little bit higher on your head, maybe a little bit lower, but whatever you find gives you the best contraction, stay in that position. He's working it right to the eye. And again, get that full stretch. Don't try to put too much weight on here and not get that full stretch. You're gonna waste the movement. Full stretch, full contraction, and as you can see, he's killing those biceps. So another great movement for your arms. Give it a shot, and I promise, big pump. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Hi guys, so we just wrapped up this week's Speed Build by Broser. You guys, we had Mark, little posing for us, and Eric assessed him a week out. Demonstrated a couple of exercises since he looked so good today. And we hope he wins. He's got a good shot, I think, Eric, next week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so happy with his prep. I mean, and especially if you look what he looks like 7 weeks ago when we first filmed him.
Crazy.
Transformation's been amazing, and I really couldn't be happier. But you know, it's not just my coaching. It's the fact that he followed directions so well, and he put 100% into every rep, every set, and all his meals. So I'm really proud of Mark.
That's awesome. So you got some questions this week?
I got a lot of them, and actually I have crib notes because I got 5 questions here, and I want to make sure that I have everybody's name right and credit everybody for these great questions. And I think that a lot of these questions are kind of cool for just a general. I get these questions a lot, so I try to choose questions that a lot of people ask me, so it helps a lot of people. The first question is from Steve Marcioni, and he has asked me a question before. He asks me a lot of questions. He's been asking me a lot of questions over the years, but he always does so with such respect, and he waits for my answers. He doesn't complain if I can't get to him for 2 weeks, so he's great. He's very hardworking. So he wanted to know about carb cycling. He wanted to know what my opinion was on carb cycling as a diet approach, and whether I use it. And it's a pretty simple answer. I mean, I believe that each person needs their own plan. Everything is always individualized. Different diets work for different people. I have certain principles that I try to follow that I feel are universal, and they work very, very well. But all of us have slightly different physiologies and respond slightly different to everything. So yeah, I mean, I use carb cycling when I feel that it's needed. Carb cycling is always pretty much built into my plans for pre-contest, in the sense that there's always less carbs on non-training days than there are on training days, because we just don't need them. Sometimes I'll bring the fats up, sometimes I'll bring the protein up on non-training days. It depends, and there'll be a little heavier carbs on the training days. And then I try to, if everything's going well, I just adjust all those numbers week to week. Sometimes I have clients who actually need a little bit more variation. Their body needs to be, has to have different numbers on different days because their body settles into the diet so quickly, and I have to use carb cycling with them. And so sometimes I'll do something like on leg days and back days, maybe they'll have more carbs than they will on shoulders and arm days, because those are more or less demanding. So I'm not. I say carb cycling is a great thing. I don't think that it's necessary all the time. I work it from person to person, and it depends what I'm seeing, in front of me. But if you're somebody who's not being coached and you're relying on yourself, then you should try carb cycling and see how it works for you. Try different approaches, and see what's happening. But again, we're all individuals. We have our own.
No, come. Look who's here.
Happy birthday. In the middle.
Yeah. See ya. How's it going, man?
Happy birthday.
Our good friend Sia from Six Pack. How are you, man? Good to see you.
I'm doing great. I just saw that big guy with the big shoulders. What was that? Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you, man. I had to stop there.
I know. A surprise guest on Big Bill Park Road.
Yeah, actually, I'll see your video, guys. It's
Are you watching it?
Yeah, of course.
Good to see you, man.
And stuff. Yeah, thank you very
That's
much.
awesome.
Looking great, man.
Thank you.
How many weeks?
3 now.
All right.
This is my best one.
Looking good.
Yeah, thank you.
4.
I'm happy.
He's ready. He's more than ready. He's going to
Yeah,
be big time.
You look full.
I know.
Yeah, usually people run down by this time. All these
I'm eating
diet
so
runs
much.
the whole
This
year.
is the best one yet.
Okay, so we had a little surprise there from our good friend Sia, who owns Six Pack Gym here in California, which we've done a lot of filming at, and he surprised us and showed up at Gold's Gym. But Steve, I was pretty much at the end of my question, and just to finish off, try carb cycling. I do believe in it. Doesn't necessarily have to be done for everybody, but like I said, some people need a little bit more variation, so it's definitely a valid approach. The next question is from a guy who's been my client for a long time, and his name is Emilio Ruiz, and he's actually himself a bodybuilder and a personal trainer himself and a coach in Canada. And he wanted to know, and now we have this one showing up.
We got a lot of cameos today. What's up, champ? How are you, man?
Just checking out, making sure I'm supervising, making sure you're doing
Yeah, we're having someday here at the Mecca when 4-time Mr. Olympia shows up.
You gotta stop. You gotta stop.
You gotta just stop what you're doing. Emilio, you're lucky. That was during your question.
That's right.
Anyway, so who else is going to be? Who's next?
I saw Iris and Hita here.
I know Iris and Hita here. Brad Rowe is over there.
That's a Mecca, baby.
So anyway, yeah, you never know what's going to happen at the Mecca. That's why we love this guerrilla filming, because there's, who needs a script?
So talk to me about Emilio. What's his
Yeah,
question?
Emilio's question. He wanted to know when you're working with a client and they diet for a show, 16 weeks, 20 weeks, whatever, how long do you take to kind of what they call reverse diet them out of the show? In other words, getting them back into a position where, they don't blow up the first week and, end up gaining 30, 40 pounds or, just kind of regulating their body back. And there really is damn, I'm sorry, I keep messing with that thing.
That's okay. I'll cut it.
So
I'll cut
annoying.
it.
Anyway, they want to know, so how long do you reverse diet for? And I think most people take about 4 to 6 weeks to come out of a show properly, if you do it properly. And, the way to do it is basically to, you don't want to just, obviously when everybody's done with the show, they want to have a cheat meal or two, and you should relax and have fun and celebrate with a couple of meals, but you should really cut that off after a couple of meals. Otherwise, you're going to have such a rebound effect. The body is in such a sensitive state after a show that you could literally gain 10, 15, 20 pounds of water after a show. It could be very, very uncomfortable. And actually, I've seen people actually end up in the hospital because of it, because it's not healthy. So have a couple of cheat meals, of course.
A couple cheat meal, or because you give me usually 24 hours, and in 24 hours, there's more than a couple.
Well, I mean, I think that's true. That's true. I mean, it depends on the person, but I think that there are people who overdo, to have a cheat meal, sit down and have a satisfying cheat meal is one thing. I know some people who sit down and literally put away 8,000 calories in a meal, and it's crazy. And I did that before myself, and it's not great. So directly to answer the question is really, like I said, 4 to 6 weeks. What I basically do, and again, this is all individualized, is I slowly add, I start by adding in a little bit of carbohydrates each week back into the diet. I kind of revert back to the diet they were using maybe about 2 to 3 weeks before the show, and I start that as a base. And then from there, I'll start adding in some carbohydrates, some protein, some fat each week, maybe 250 to 500 calories. I encourage people to continue doing their cardio, not as much as they were before the show, but at least some to keep the metabolism going. And if we just use this kind of approach where we just add in a little bit of time each week, the body has time the metabolism can adjust, the body can get used to having more sodium, more carbohydrates, more fats, and it won't rebound so bad. So that's the key. You don't want to rebound after a show and lose everything that you gained and then put yourself in an unhealthy state. So 4 to 6 weeks, gradually work yourself into an off-season diet and then figure out what it is that you want to do in terms of the off-season. If you're going to do a little bit more of a bulk or a lean gaining, most of my clients that I work with, I don't really bulk anymore. I like to do a lean off-season, keeping them anywhere between 10 and 20 pounds, depending on their size, close to their show weight, and I think this is the best place to be. So Emilio, use about 4 to 6 weeks, and you'll see how I do it with you the next time that you compete. All right, so next question.
All right, Merlin.
Crazy show today. We got an unbalanced table. We got guests showing up. You never know what's going to happen. And if you don't realize that Dave is behind the camera eating his post-workout meal.
I think Jay's leaving.
Jay's leaving, so we're going to say goodbye to him.
So after being interrupted by 4-time Mr. O, let's resume.
Let me tell you something about Jay. He's such a camera hog. It's like
he wants his camera time.
He wants his camera time. He's not, he's not Mr. Olympia anymore.
He saw the camera. That's why he came over.
And he's trying to take the time from me. I don't agree with that.
All right,
but anyway, seriously though, I just want to answer a couple more quick questions. I got this one through my email, and that's great that I got a question through my email, because we do put my email up there with the Merlin sign, so you're free to ask me questions.
You guys are paying attention.
Yeah, you can send me through email. You can send it on Facebook. I'll put it right on the page on Ask Merlin Monday. But anyway, this one came through email, and this is his name is LB Arguelles. Arguelles. I don't know how to say your name, but I know I see you all the time. You're a very big supporter. Thank you so much. And you just asked me a pretty simple question. You said, when I started bodybuilding, did I ever envision being Mr. Olympia? And the answer to that question is no. And it's not because I didn't think I could be or couldn't be, but that was not really why I went into bodybuilding. I really went into bodybuilding first more just to, I wanted to be a bigger guy. I wanted to be more in shape. I wanted to be muscular. And then when I started competing, I just wanted to be a better version of myself, and I had a vision in my head, and I've mentioned this before. I was an artist before I did this. I paint and draw and sold art and stuff, and so I have a very keen. Yes. Oh yeah, I'm a sold artist.
I never knew that.
Oh yeah, I have some of my pictures on Facebook, but anyway, so. And I still do some. I still dabble in it today, and I want to get back more into it. I guess that's kind of like the Kai Green in me. He does that stuff too. But anyway, so I have a very keen eye, or very, meticulous eye towards what I want to look like, and that was really all I envisioned doing, just kind of making myself into a living work of art, which is why I'm actually really glad that the NPC started this classic physique division, which I'm planning on competing in. But so when I always looked up to the guys like Steve Reeves and Bob Paris and Lee Labrada and Francis Benfato, and those more aesthetic physiques, and that's all I wanted to do, and wherever it took me, it took me. I did turn pro. At an early age. I turned pro at 21 in natural bodybuilding, and retired for a while, competed, retired, and the last time I competed was 2011 in the NPC Ironman, and I won, and then I retired again, and I'm probably going to come back out again because Dave is forcing me to. And he's forcing me to. But so I never really, listen, if I became Mr. Olympia, that would be great. But I mean, I never thought, this is my goal to be Mr. Olympia. I just wanted to be the best that I could be. So that's really to answer your question. And that's the way I'm going to continue to go, to try to be better than I've always been.
All right, last question, but not least.
Not least. And listen, this question is from Mr. Tim Boylan. Tim is a client of mine.
A friend of mine.
And a friend of Dave's.
I sent him to you.
Yes, Dave introduced him to me. And where does he live right now?
He's in West Virginia.
He's in West Virginia. And he actually, we were getting him ready for a show. And he's had a terrible tricep elbow problem, tendonitis and stuff. He ended up having it torn off the bone. He had to finally have this thing fixed. So we decided we got to cut everything off. We got to let him have surgery. That's the only way he's going to be at his best. And right now he had his surgery. It went well. He's recovering. Tim, we want you to come back really soon. We're already planning his leg workouts because we're going to bring him back with legs and everything. And we're going to compete in the show next year. I'm not sure which one yet, but Well wishes to you, Tim, and you actually sent me an email.
Many emails.
Many emails. Yes, you're a very consistent email and texter.
He likes to stay in touch.
But we love that. And you sent me a bunch of questions, and I'm gonna use these over time. But the one that you asked me that I chose today was, what's the number one thing that bodybuilders do wrong off season and pre-contest? What would just be one thing that you would pick out? And to me, the answer is pretty simple and pretty straightforward. Off season, most bodybuilders get too heavy, and they have this thing about trying to bulk up and get gain all this weight and size and everything like that. But to me, that's counterproductive. Most of the time, whatever, if you gain 50, 60 pounds, you feel big and bulky, you end up having to diet so much harder, so much longer, and do so much more cardio, you end up getting rid of most of that muscle mass that you gain. I think it's a much better approach to not get so heavy in the off season. If you're a heavyweight and you're weighing 250, 260 on stage, that kind of a guy, you might maybe want to gain 25 pounds. If you're more like, a lighter guy, a smaller guy, middleweight, you might only want to gain 10, 12 pounds. For example, even, as I've been training Dave, the man behind the camera, his stage weight's somewhere around 220, and I already have for the off-season planned for him maybe 235 at the most. So that's the biggest mistake I think people make in the off-season bodybuilders is they get too heavy. They try to, this whole bulking thing is really not the best way to go. Pre-contest, I think that the mistake, two mistakes. I'm going to point out two, even though you asked for one. One, I think people don't diet long enough. Sorry, I keep messing with the table.
It's okay.
Keep messing with the table. This table is very imbalanced. I should put some sugar packets under one side. I think that they don't start their diets early enough. I think they misjudge themselves. I see a lot of people go, oh, I'm going to diet. They'll come to me and they'll be like, oh, how long do you think I need? I think I need 12 weeks. I'll be like, no, you need like 20 weeks. Because diets should be slower, they should be more gradual, and that's the best way to hold on to muscle as you're preparing for a show. If you have to crash diet, you have to do more cardio, you have to do less carbs, you're going to end up burning a lot of muscle tissue instead of fat tissue. And you stress so much more. And when you do a more gradual plan, I think it's the best idea for everybody. And combining not getting too heavy in the off season will also help you not have to necessarily diet for so long. But don't misjudge your condition. Be very, very critical of your condition because it's better to diet for longer than shorter. If you end up in shape too early for a show, there's no such thing as peaking too early. People, I peaked too early. That's BS. If you peak too early, that's the best scenario possible because then you can make adjustments that will allow you to actually get better from there to the show. Your skin will continue to tighten up. You'll end up in better condition. The second thing I want to say comes down to that final week. The final week, and I've discussed this before, people do the craziest things the final week, peak week, and they gotta stop doing that. Your body's been eating certain foods, it's used to certain foods, you should be in shape a week out, you shouldn't be trying to still get in shape the day before the show. So people start adding in these strange foods they haven't eaten, sugars, this and that, they fat load, they carb load, they sodium deplete, they cut water. Your body is in way too delicate of a state for that. If you're in shape a week before a contest, all the final few days should be just very, very slight adjustments just to put the icing on the cake. Don't start adding in crazy foods that you haven't been eating because you don't know how your body's going to react to it. Don't start adding in sodium and depleting sodium because your body could go completely wacko. If you try to add too many carbs in and then take them out, you can't do this to your body. It's too confusing, and 99% of the time, those tricks don't work. They backfire. So basically, the final week, for most people, it should just be very, very slight adjustments. You can keep drinking water pretty much right to the show. If you're drinking water, your sodium is low, your body's gonna flush it out, you're gonna feel better on stage, you're gonna be fuller. Do you have to cut every milligram of sodium out? No, you don't. If you cut every milligram of sodium out of your diet, then your body's gonna go flat. So the peak week, as I do it, is a very, very moderate change from the week before. And that's basically the biggest mistake that people make is they try to do too much in that final week.
Thanks, E.